Hello, galactic travelers, cosmic crew, Coco Chi, EIE. What's up? It is the 11th day of January, 2019, and it is exactly 12:20. And that was exact timing I was to show up today at 12:20 on this 11th day. And oh, I'm buzzing like crazy. There's so much new energy that is merging and releasing, and these constructs are rapidly deteriorating in what we perceive to be the matrix, and what we perceive ourselves to be, and an understanding who and what humanity really is, and how our reality interacted with our energy and created our experience, and even more so, how that's changing in this now. This information is not readily available, I believe, in this realm, and this is what opened up in the Akash of our seed since January. And I'm talking slow because I'm getting into describing. If you haven't seen the last video, we were and or the one before, anything since January on this channel, go back and watch it after you watch this video, and some of these things will start making sense. All of those videos and how the star races were aligned with the planetary energies, and the numbers that were used to define which plane they were on, and which tone they had, which is the basis of our reality, and it always has been. And it's very simple. It it all breaks down to the resonance in a letter, and the tone that and the energy that that letter makes. That is what creates a frequency. And all the things that are coming open in our Akash now are showing us how very simple things are. And remember, we're in a polarized reality. And the more that because we're splitting right now in realities. So different things are being polarized. Well, remember, everything has a polarization. So, as complex as we can make it, and as building CERN, for instance, or those, and see, even saying that word now brings a resonance to my body because I'm understanding the keys. And so, this is probably the most important information that any human being could have at this point as we're going through ascension. Because what we learn is that are literally the words that we call things. And when our body says those tones in those sequences together in a natural state, is what then produces our experience around us. So realize that, this is where languages became Babylon. different languages and different nationalities all are on different. I'm sorry, I'm making sure that I'm live. I'm making sure right now. Hold on one second. Okay. Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure. They're on different they're programmed to different dimensions. I apologize for that. They're programmed to different dimensions. So this Akash started coming out whenever, and so now I need to backtrack because this is, how we understood the right universal alignment. This is the numerology and how all of those codes were deciphered, and so much more that I haven't been able to share with you guys, because literally you can take with numerology and how our universe is set up through the simplistic, energetic, Lyran, true, organic process of this realm is what we are in right now. So, what we have to understand, those of us way showers in the front end, especially in this now, as quick as possible, is that this is a bridge. Understanding what words we're saying, and it's not like we have to go this code and numerology debunks the word. And where I'm going with this is as we see what tones hit different dimensions of consciousness, because that's how the tone works. The tone works organically with your body. So the tone comes out of your body and then resonates to your body. What happened was it became cubed. And this organic process then cubed out into three alternates. And then it kept replicating and it kept cubing. So now we're back to the original, but realize that when we talk about the original tones, then like that's what resonates in the body, but then that creates a tone that is the quite polarization and opposite from way, way, way out. That's how it encompasses all of one. So certain words like consciousness is linked to the 13th gate, which is basically the organic seed fully together, the cosmic seed, and then the energy around it with no artificial. So when you do something at the 13th gate, then you're affecting the 3 to the 4, which is basically Eve in that situation, because everything has a positive and a negative. And now I'm not going to that's just kind of like a big overview of how it breaks down. And but it's very simple. And what's crazy that I wanted to jump on and share is that and before I lead up to breaking this down, because again, it's a process of understanding the and the numbers, and it's a process of really understanding the letters and the numbers and how they correlate in these patterns. Different ones of us are going to see them in different ways. This is kind of like the construct it was set up. Some of you guys are going to be tuned to the music in it. You're going to, when you get it, you're not going to see it the way I see it. You're gonna, because in my seed, this is this matrix construct that was set up with the unholy six. So within my Akash, whenever whenever I had the Saturn return, and I mean, my Venus was on my, I mean, all of us are linking into this astrology, and right, but it all links down to the tone and the words that we call things. It also then is how the puppet master was pulling the strings. If you want to call it the puppet master, right? Because that's really what it was, which is why the minions are running around like doing stupid things right now. Because literally what has happened since January is that, understand that now I need to call in, I want to call in all of our, I'm calling creator, I call in the angels, I call in the archangels. I call in all of our StarSeed Origins. I call on Creator. I call on the E-I-E, all of the One, to come and clear our energy fields and ballast the energy in all space and time in this now of the highest consciousness. Let this information flow through the number patterns within the sequences of each being organically that is watching this in this now. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for the transmutation and the transmission of this information until the human collective at this time. I ask for Archangel Michael, and I ask for Michael. I ask for all of the energies to twine and make a force field around this energy field in this now. All energy or any lower frequency energies that try to disrupt this field in any way, shape, or form. Any numbers that are conflicting in code in this shape or form are now and henceforth sent back to the sender in 1000% light quotient. Reflect back to the universe of consciousness with that percentage, and will only fuel this message and the DNA sequence in which it reached all humanity in this now. And so it is. This one's a hard one for me. There's a lot going on right now. Remember, we really are undoing Neptune. And what I was about to speak about was something that I'm just making into awareness so that we can understand the power of this before I start breaking it down for you. And remember, this started coming through right after that 0102 portal, and then at the new moon eclipse, where literally we stepped into a higher consciousness. So then therefore each of us stepped in, that were ready and cleared, stepped into our higher seed, that the Lyran seed consciousness. So remember, whenever we're talking about all of these things, just remember that I'm speaking of the construct around us, but remember that as a being, your energies all want to merge into Lyra, if you will, at this point in time. This is why you're seeing 1010 everywhere. If you're seeing 1010 a lot, this is it. This is the Lyra consciousness. And there's a reason that we're calling it that, okay? When you go start breaking down the simple forms of the numerology, and you start understanding that each letter has a tone, and that the you start understanding the cubed, which is three sides. Have you ever thought about cubed? Cubed is a three, but a cube is actually four sides. And I never really thought about that before until all this Akash started coming in. and then I started linking it back to the qubits, which is a Masonic teaching, and the qubit is basically a 777 key into the matrix where they're flipping the energy. Because remember, whatever the energy is of the being, whether that be me or humanity, that is what's going to be fractaled out into 3 at its purest source, because it was fractaled out twice, so 4 times over. Okay, so at its the matrix at its purest source was then fractaling out that, divided by, to the power of 3, and then projecting it back s, and then times, and then to the third, and then it basically becomes 9 to the third. Okay, so remember, the energy is everything. It's like, that's why I even wore this shirt. If you look at this pattern, you can see the pink swirls, you can see the energy. We'll now focus on the black. And the black, you see different things, right? They work together to create the image, but the energy is what technology and engineers have been trying to break down into a basically an unorganic system, which gets really, 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 really complex. But that's because they're fractaling it out, fractaling it out, fractaling it out. They're not, you have to put it back together. So, what does this mean? This means that when you understand the way these words are, what each tone is, and when you put them together, and then what this will start to explain is then how that word attaches into the human DNA, and basically then how all these how our energy field was then attached to all these past lives, alternate realities, dimensions of self that were all fractaled, because we didn't go back to source, right? So right now what's happening is that we're back at source and we're rewriting the whole thing. Well, in order to rewrite the whole thing, we're remembering how we wrote it to be, how it was written to begin with. Okay, the matrix, those constructs, because again, I've been saying this forever. I love it whenever I can clearly see these alternate states, and it's so clear what they're doing in a construct, like like a Stargate or a submarine or any of those things. Go look into what it is that thing is actually doing, and there's something that you can call in your energy field whenever we get it all figured out, that's going to do it in and of itself, or us just thinking of, I mean, we're learning how this is working, but it links. I keep getting called to come show. So Andreas is Cosmic Crew. He is in Sweden. I've talked about him before. This information, he's an engineer. He built spacecrafts. I mean, um he understands sound travel and waves and scalar waves. He's been to live demonstrations where he's seen, a electrical experiment in water, that I sent him a picture that I'll do a video on, and I've talked about this before, but I actually have a picture of me in water. I did this July 2017, and I created energy matter in water, and it split, the energy light split out from it, came into my body, balanced it out through my body. You can see all these beings and stuff going on in the pictures. And then I pulled an eagle out of my chest in pure light. And then the head fell off and then it blew up into a black hole. And I've got this in pictures. I'm working on getting it together. I'm just now able to talk about it. I've had these for 18 months, but I wasn't able to discuss it or share it. I'm sharing that because he saw those pictures and I sent them to him. My soul had me send him. I had sent it to him and he said, "Oh my gosh, this is, basically I think he called it solo. You have solo luminous energy field, which was the exact experiment I basically I had just with two prisms, basically two hangy things like this on a fishing wire in a swimming pool with pure intent. I was able to create the same thing that cost millions and millions and millions of dollars, and right, that created this wave. Now, so this is just proving. I'm sharing these things right now because this is proving how and it goes back to this simplistic root. Again, it's the root of the word, the root of the energy, and then the understanding of what that means, because a 1 is a lightning bolt. A 2 doesn't move like a lightning bolt. A lightning bolt down here, but the two's a hook, right? Two's a hook. If we're looking at the negative space around that, then you just created, see, boom. So I'm showing you that right now because that last video I had a 22 on up here, and I was showing you guys how it mirror merges and links in. And that's the feminine. All organic properties in this universe, anything organic is made from the feminine seed, and it all originates from the feminine energy of Venus, which is the first feminine energy that or 9, which then created the Lyra, which is the 2. Okay, I'm sorry, from Lyra. It's all done from Lyra, basically, but from the energy of Venus. And so then that's where the matrix hooked in. Okay, we're back up here now. So we're making another 2. So we've already birthed the field. The energy's already cleared. Now we're taking all this and we're linking back in and creating these 2s. Well, he saw that, and this is what he sent me. And this is super cool because I don't know if you can see it. See how it's not moving. It looks like it's moving. You see how it looks like it's moving? Now that is what our Merkaba, that is the 2-2, the Isis and the Osiris. Whenever they link together, see the energy field? It's a stargate. This is your sun. This is now our consciousness. This is now us. See how it creates that's also, what is that? Is it Michelangelo that has the body and the wheel, right? Okay, so that is these connections that are happening now. Well, let me read you. He says, this is the video OA to IA. If you haven't checked it out, go check that out. Watch if it resonates. Watched your latest presentation, OA to the IA, shifting out of the 6, and what struck me was when you talked about the double 2 spiral symbol. A few years back, when I was searching for a very high-speed signal amplifier design based on Tesla, so-called flat spiral coil or pancake coil principle, I found this. And that's whenever he found this. It has properties that exactly suited any idea, but was too difficult for me to manufacture because the spacing and dimensions have to be perfectly exact. Caltech has the funds and equipment to do it, obviously. To me, the resemblance to your flipped and merged 2s is uncanny. This is the best signal amplification design known. The level of amplification is enormous and depends on the frequency, but it's analog, which means it amplifies a broad spectrum of signals and not just a small range like digital designs do. Could this be the pattern energy signals take inside crystals? This is something I need to figure out because we all know crystals can be used to convert to radio waves. What is happening in our body? Where our crystalline body is opening up. So our crystalline body is hooking in now to this other flow, and it's amplifying, and this is consciousness. That is ascension. This is how this all started taking place and lifting, within the DNA forms. They're bubbles up on bubbles up on bubbles up on bubbles ascending. And the DNA is the core of it. Everything else is amplified out and reflecting back. Okay, but it all comes from something so simple as that 2 2. So now that brings me to this. And I don't know if you've heard of this, and I'm only going to mention this once for this video. And I'm calling in all the energy put forth right now in explaining this to humanity is now undoing these within divine plan, undoing all altercations, all alternatives, all cubed natures are now released and sent back to their original form. And I take back the power of the orange goldfish back to the divine feminine, to the power of the 2 within my organic DNA in this now. So now I'll tell you how orange goldfish, for instance, and what it was and how it was used by the puppet master, or if you will, the polarized opposite, and what that was manipulating. The word, because basically they link into the human genome. So let me show you this. Okay. I wasn't going to do it this way. Okay. I'm completely going in guidance right now. Woo, it's taking woo. I love all of you so much. This is opening up our consciousness because this is going to help us reestablish what words we want to use, and even reestablish words and their understanding and how they create our reality. So going back to orange goldfish is linked to Pizzagate, and it's linked to Hillary Clinton and whatever his name is, Podesta or whatever. All that stuff that happened that was brought out into the collective, because again, that's a polarity, that when the energy of our light as now a whole being reaches such a light quotient, that we start seeing the reflective dark of what's been going on behind the scenes. Okay. So at that point in time, that's when all of that started coming out, okay, which was right after, which was what, 2017, okay? So, anyway, that was linked to that's linked to the cartel, that's linked to human trafficking, it's linked to sexual rituals, it's linked to all the sex magic and the domination of the female to seed was all wrapped up in those 3 words. No matter where they did their things, no matter what they were calling in, no matter all the intent from the dark master, because we had this, basically it was like this, that was it. The dark master, though, was really just these words that had been programmed to affect mass amounts of population at one time, because it's just an energetic word into the power of 3s, which then created the dissonance in the field. And so let me explain. Orange is programmed is 6-9. Where'd it go? 691575. Well, first of all, when you start seeing 1 5s and 3 1s, 1 3 1 5, those are all like ISIS numbers flip codes, just like 1221. But the 1 5 1 3 is used an awful lot. Words like tesseract, words like there's certain, there's so many, but there's certain words that, like the word tesseract in and of itself, just whenever you use that word with the keys and understanding the way I'm going to start describing and teaching you guys, you understand that that word in and of itself is what you need to use. You just have to use it. It Tesseract takes the numbers and flips and merges into a different sequence. It like cubes it basically. So it's like uh, just the word in and of itself used in the right combination creates the right tones to create the vortex. Okay. So orange is has 15. So that breaks down if I have 6915. Well, that actually breaks down to 1515. Well, there's your ISIS code right now, right there. So orange is 1515 to the power of 3 because it's 1 2. So the power of 3. So that breaks down to a 66. Okay, 6 6. Well, six is 3 6 9. 6 is like how you get to 9. You can't get to 9 if you don't go through 6. Okay, so that's also what, Antares is programmed to 6. Mars is 6. Okay, so anyway, it equals 42. Well, that's 3 to the power of the 14th. Well, when you look at the human, the entire genome, 3 to the power of the 14th is going to take me right, it's going to take me right here above Ophiuchus and Unholy 6. So it's going to, but it's, so that's just and Ophiuchus and Unholy 6 are basically, that's no longer in the DNA. That's basically, ether. Okay. So that takes us to consciousness, which includes all the starseed DNA and how it was split into the 244s. So the word orange put in front of anything used to, it no longer does affect the entire DNA because they linked it to that word. The word gold is 7634. That's a 767. Well, the 7 7s are linked to Zeta Reticuli. So formal hot and Zeta Reticuli are the ether. So orange went to right here. Gold takes us to right here. So now it includes all the DNA up to the Ia, to the AIIA. And it also is the feminine. It equals 20. So it's 2. So anything that you they put that word in front of, then took on the feminine. And of course, the black magic in the back end was manipulating it. But this is how they do it. They did it. Well, gold is 3 to the 6th plus 2. So 3 to the 6th plus 2 is that gold is the full organic DNA within the human DNA. Because I don't care if you have Lyra or not, yes, you do. If you didn't bring in it, you still do. Because we all have all these mixed in. That's the whole point of ascension that's happening now. But this is the feminine, this is the first or the second feminine seed. Okay, so that's why it's the root race, because it's the first feminine seed. So that word gold is a 2. So it affects and it's 3 to the 6th. So it affects all the way to the internal body. Lyra is basically your body. So that was the human DNA. And then we have the word fish. And the word fish is 4918, which equals 139, which equals 22. 22, master builder number, creator number, divine feminine number, 22. That's also the 22 gateway within the human genome. And it equals 49, which is 13. 13th bloodline. All of that comes from being programmed out to the 13th, which is Bellatrix and Odron. And so it's like, so the Orion Pleiade DNA, before it fractaled again to create Betelgeuse and Andromeda, that then fractaled again out and created, Mercury and basically Mercury Chiron. Okay. So the 13th DNA is like the Joshua and the Mary Magdalene, if you will. Okay. 13th bloodline is right here. Is the Orion right? No, I'm sorry. Don't shoot me. Is right here. It's all of that. So it's the human DNA. Here's consciousness. It's the human DNA. And then this is kind of like the highest, this is the highest frequency, and this is the static that exists because of it, the artificial and the right, and then alpha draconics down here. All right, so that's the zetas hooked in with the alpha draconic there. We all have all of it in our DNA. That's the point. Like these words, even me talking about this, as I say those words, it's giving energy to those fields, and it's creating those fields. So I have to be cognizant now because I'm understanding. But it is a ladder, because for a lot of us, especially that have the Orion template and have so much of that alpha draconic energy, it's very important for us to be able to see it. Because whenever we can see, because this is in your DNA, you understand this. Once you remember the keys, this is gonna be really easy, because this is within our DNA. This is why this, dark dragon, red vampire, whatever it is, whatever entity you wanted to call him, when that seed went into our DNA. Well, that's why he couldn't tell anybody the secrets. He couldn't love or share or whatever. In a way, we were all of his children, but he he was staying attached to our field so that he could control this, because he knew that we would all know, and then we realize, which is what's happening right now in this now, is that Neptune is going back to its true. Neptune is Venus's oversoul, if you will. But that's even still blending to the IAI, right? So it's like I'm retraining myself. All right. So I got, so fish is 13. Well, 13, 31, 13 is the matrix. That's how it's coded. And I'll get down into that later, but it's 3113. Arcturus, 3113. That 13, because 13 and 13 create 26. And again, I showed you how the 2s lock in, but remember the 3s lock in too, because it's a flip. All right. So I hope you guys are following me. I'm doing my best to get this out in this form. Okay. I'm also, this is all going to be in the seminar, because this is basically what we're just going to start going by. I had to get this out. Thank you, Lisa. Okay. Now, take a screenshot right now, please, because I'm developing a poster, but when you guys really get what we have here, this is I hope you guys are getting what I'm actually what actually is happening. Every word that comes up in your consciousness, or every if you're stuck, if you're stuck on feeling like you're just Isis, or you're stuck on feeling or you're having all these space dreams, or Andromeda, or whatever, Lilith, God, Allah, Abba, Muhammad, Jerusalem, tell me a name. Tell me. Because with this simple form, I can, and with the chart and the DNA and the consciousness and that understanding, I can go tell you what dimension, if that's a program, you can see. You can see it. It's really easy. It's a positive, or it's a +1, which is a construct, or it's a +2. And so it's like you look on there and you're like, okay, my soul, okay, so my soul is trying to intertwine me in with my Lilith aspect, which is my Orion aspect. So that's why that's coming up. Okay, cool. Now, once my consciousness feels that, I release that Lilith template. I am not just Lilith. I am not just Sirius. I am not just Andromeda. I am not just, right. But if we're going to go to the purest form of the energy, it's Lyra, because Lyra is L, which is 3, Y, which is 7, R, which is 9, and A, which is 1. So now I have, then what I do is your eyes, once you get used to looking at this, and once I started looking at numbers, then I started seeing patterns. Now, some of you won't see this, that's okay. Others are going to see tones, colors, and music, right? Or different, this is going to send you, this is because it's breaking open one of those cubes. Okay, back to that cube, three sides, three sides. Well, that creates a box, right? Which looks like what? A Merkaba. And that creates the environment, the energy coming out then creates a cube around you. So the cubing is how our reality comes back to us. And in the natural form with Lyra, that's Moon and Pluto and Saturn. Okay. But what's happening is now that's connected into the human genome, and right, we're creating our own reality, but now it's like we're learning what certain words and tones create. Okay. So you start seeing codes. So this is 3 and this is 1010. Well, Isis is 9191, which is 1010. But see, Isis equal, is that's 2020, 2020. They're coded exactly the same. You see? So that's a 2. Lyra is a 1010. It's a 2 energy. So it's even like whenever we call it Lyra consciousness, it has a higher resonance. It's going to reach a higher consciousness, and it's going to go deeper within the human genome to the core of the genome. If we say Lyra consciousness instead of, you know, so it's like Lyra consciousness is going to hit us at the human genome. Christ consciousness is going to hit us because the word Christ, is taking out to a higher dimension. So it's as within, so without, as above, so below. Boom, boom, right? Okay, so the vowels in numerology, let me keep going. Let me show you this. Okay, here's Lyra. Let me put this back up here real quick. 3, 7, 9, 1. Okay, so then that equals 10, 10. But what is it? But when I break it down, When I break it down, it equals 10, 10. But what does it really equal? 3 to the 7. 3 plus 7 is 10. Plus 9 is 20, right? Okay. So how many times will 3 go into 20? It goes into 20 6 times plus 2. Every single word that you break down is going to go to 3 to the power of its wholeness, 3 to the power plus 1, or 3 to the power of something plus 2. No matter what you break down. If it's if it's a plus 1, then it's a masculine charge. If it's a plus 2, it's a feminine charge. That's where I get that. It's not so it's not just that it has an overall 9 energy. It could still have a bunch of 2s in it and be a plus 2. So it's affecting the feminine genome in it. See, this is how they overlap in these roots. That's why getting down to the root and then what happens is when you take a root and a root and a root and you put them together, then you're controlling 3 dimensions at once. And I'm seeing green dots. I'm seeing green dots and blue dots and triangles splitting out right now. Whoa. Okay. Whew. Your vowels are, and if you, and like numerology, right? Whenever you look at your soul urge, it goes off your vowels in your name because the vowels are the true tones. The consonants, that's a construct. That's not a tone. A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, B, K, D, F. Okay. So these are like your power chords. And this has something to do with music too. You guys in music, please blow our minds, go create. This is why I'm doing this. Getting it out there even when it's just coming out, right? Because this is the keys to the kingdom. Okay, so whenever you do your name and you just do the vowels, right? So this is why, I 9 and 1 is the completion. This is right because you've got 9 here and 1 here. Notice there's only 2 9s here. This is the Fibonacci sequence. I just realized that. Here's the 1, here's 1, 1, and then it goes to 3. So that's like the 1 to 1 that creates 2, right? But that spiral down is how that okay. So anyway, I don't want to get off power chords. So these tones are really the true tones. This goes back to light language. If every single one of you can speak light language. Every single one of you can speak light language. Open up your field and just let it go. Asikitiko o shikitiki a kikto o kakakati e katato o kitaka I sikitika asikitik pupuko shikita kara pupuka shikita kara kataka pupuka shitika kata kata shikta pade tikapo. Asikitu o shikitita kash. Ashikitito o shikitita. That's because you're getting the language from our souls, right? But we're speaking in a higher resonance, and that literally pulls your because it's all vowels and little consonants thrown in, but they're not linked together so that they're not creating a false reality on us, right? But we can retool the language, right? So we don't have to just drop it. We just have to do some, and we're doing this consciously by a lot of us, and like when I looked up Co Chi, I was like, oh my gosh, I love my soul, I love myself. That was so good. I didn't know why I broke down stuff the way it did, but that's why. I mean, that there's magic in Co Chi, pure magic, and it takes it to the two. So we need to make up those are things that we're learning how, right? Okay. So these are the vowels and the tones. Here's your vowel. So A, J, S, ones. These are your 2 energies. B, K, T. 3 energies. C, L, U. Clue. This is why I call you guys the crew. CREU instead of EW because it has a higher resonance. DMV. DMV. Department of Motor Vehicles. Really? That's 444. ENW, which basically is new, 555. NEW. Okay. 5 is change. Something's new. This is, if I add that word up, it's 15. So that's 3 to the power of the 5th. So that's whenever we came out of the first alternate reality, and then we were in the fifth. That takes us to Neptune. That 5 energy is like Neptune, Sirius, okay, the collective unconscious. That 5 energy, there's not a lot that equal this 5 because it doesn't come from the original of the this is where it flips, right? Everything can be kind of broken down from 3 until we get to 5, right? So anyway, new, notice what 666 is. Fox network. 666. 666 added together creates 18, which creates a 9. We've got 369. So sly as a fox. Number 9, the false of the pure. The chi is the 9. So bam, you're fox, sly as a fox. 7GPY. Notice 7 here, God. Okay, when you go look at the word God, God was programmed to and manipulated. You know, this is why the Masons use the G, and this is why you can tell Masonic lodges if kind of what side they're on. And if you're in a Masonic lodge and you don't even know, well, then I hope you're watching right now, because I mean, really, that's how it's set up. They don't even really know because it's all hidden in the tones in the language. Okay, but if the compass thing is going up or is it going down, and there's a G in it, well, all that's linked to the 7. Okay, and that was linked into God, and the 7 gate is linked into the zeta reticuli. This is how they did a lot. This 7 is, they programmed that energy is programmed with the 7s to interrupt the 7, because 5 plus 2 is 7. So 5 going back to a 2, which, remember what it does, the 2 then starts organically replicating on itself and that's what's happening now that we've cleared all this energy, and now we're debunking this whole cube system right now. So this is how they were controlling the 13th gate, okay? Was through the 7. Notice God, all right? HQZ is 8, and then INR is 9, okay? This is also, just so, and I'll get into deeper in the cubed and stuff, but I wrote it like this because we need to stop. We need to stop looking at things linear. Nothing is linear. Nothing goes like this: start, stop, stops. Nothing. Everything is constantly spinning, and Carrie Ann and I have talked about this too, because a lot of us are awaking our Pleiadian teachings and our Lumerian teachings within our seed. And that's what's awakening that I'm sharing with you now. But back to the core, and I did a video about this back in 2017 when when I was, gosh, before I understood StarSeedology and before I even made up StarSeedology, which, by the way, is beautiful alchemy, all the way down to the zeta reticuli. See, it's crazy. But what was I saying? Crap. Boop, 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 boop. I can't remember. Rewind. If it was important, I got lost on StarSeedology. But this is even the alpha. Okay, Lyra, look at everything up. So just start looking at things differently because you can see them differently in tones, and really just practice breaking out your word and just break out the numbers in different words, guys. Tornado has an alchemical effect. It's 555. The word tornado is 555. That is a tornado. Hurricane is 7. Hurricane is 99997. It equals 52, but it's 99997. So it's gonna hit the atmosphere, whereas a tornado is just gonna take this side and loop it back on this side, right? The word So this really got me blew my mind yesterday because I'm even starting to see some of it come back to me in the consciousness as I share this. And I want to end with this right here. But, you know, our experiences are what we share. And so this is part of my experience. Right after I finished the live yesterday, I got an email notification that the winter storm has hit. Okay, storm 69, 15, 1 5, 15 15, 13 13, 12. These are alchemy codes. They're flips. Okay. So the storm is a 15. It has a 22 energy, divine feminine. Okay. So the storm was called GIA, Gia, Gaia, or GIA. Well, I had just done that first video saying, okay, we're going back to what's the true source, what's the true tone. Right now, I feel like what it is, because this is gonna grow, is what I've gotten closest to is IA, IA, and AI, the exact opposite. IA. So what did we call this storm? GIA. Okay, well, y'all don't know this. But the company that I speak of that that I sold to the crooks or whatever, that I was building artificial intelligence, okay, and putting emotions into artificial intelligence, that's what we were building. The dating site that I was gonna use it on to help people determine how they really felt about themselves so they could learn themselves, so then they could meet somebody else after they learn themselves, because what really I wanted to do was develop the technology to help me figure it out. Well, my company was named GIA Technology. And after I woke up and I named it after the diamond grade, and I took a lot of time, it took me a lot of time to name GIA. And then it and so then I realized after I was activated that it was one letter off from Gaia. So it was like almost Gaia technology, which really blew my mind. Then yesterday, it was like they announced this GIA storm, and that had me go look it up, and GIA is 161, okay, which is basically a 6 with 2 ones on the side, so it's a strong 6. And anyway, I just found that interesting, okay, that, they named it GIA again, going back to 7 and God and all of that, and the inner reflection also was, holy crap. I started looking at all the players that were involved in that whole thing, and I had known that there was interference, and there was, for me and my experience, there was an awful lot of interference, as you can tell, because in my Akash I have this information. So in my experience in this lifetime, just as there's many of you, we had a lot of interference. Okay. But my company was named GIA Technology. The company I was building that I had that we were merging the technology with, okay, which was a man that I knew that um I met who had 9 patents in technology, and we were like merging them. I was helping build the structure and all of that, okay? Well, I got the name of what we were going to name that by a dream. And it came to me at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and this was 2012, and this was me completely unconscious, but I saw the whole thing play out. I had been looking for a name. That name was Anu, ANU. And I remember when I started telling everybody, "It's gonna be called Anu, it's gonna be called Anu," and everyone kept telling me, "Chrissy, do you even know what that means?" And I didn't even know it was a god or that it was linked Anunnaki or any of that. I just knew it was gonna be called Anu, ANU. So, and the man who had the patents was what he called his platform was 6 to 1. And I just now realized what 6 to 1 is. 6 to 1 is the moon and Pluto, which created Saturn. So why am I saying this? Because in some way or form, and again, going back to 2012, well, then it's like we got all the carbon based of that, and it's like now we're going back, in our current life. And when you can see, now that we're on the other side, when you can see where it all happened, and like and really connect and realize that that was built. That's what we're doing now. When I go back and look at the technology and everything that we were doing and who I was dealing with and getting America back to work and the Huffington Post, I mean, it's just nuts, okay? Because it all breaks down to these timelines and codes, and we were all creating for them. You know, I was in technology industry for 20 years. I mean, so I literally for 2 years when I was building this merge of these 3 companies was out on, at meetings 3 times a day, thinking about it all the freaking time, connecting them all the time, telling everyone, telling banks, telling everyone, blending because I had to get the attention because I was trying to get the money so I could build it. So what did I do? I went and told everyone about it. I mean, this because by that time, we're talking national attention, you know? So trying to build it, well, I was saying those words every single time. And so in the back end, there was a construct that was built to come at me. Now, when I saw that storm called GIA and I put that together, boy, that I at 4:05 called in the reversal of GIA technology and the release of all energy held in anew and 6 to 1 to be released to my field now. All energy of I can't remember, my sovereign being used to create alternate realities that I was not conscious of cease to exist, and all energy of anew and GIA and 6 to 1 are returned into my inheritance under the Ea and the One, and so it is. So this is how we use these things to start seeing these programs so that we can quickly bring back that energy, because now when you take back your energy, then and you really own it, and you know that you didn't lose anything, and that was just a construct that was coded to come at you. Don't get me started on The Simpsons. I can't. I had to tell you this part, and like, so we can get in the good stuff. Because when we start looking at Trump, Pelosi, The Simpsons, I mean, you name it, anything that comes at us, we can start decoding. We have the keys. Okay. So comment below if there's something that you want me to start decoding. I'm already working on, besides talking with you guys, okay, as this is unraveling through these gateways, okay? But it's so important to remember that you're just seeing it so you can so that you because you don't resonate with it, don't keep calling it in. Okay, this is why this information was like, can everyone handle it? Well, don't call it in whenever you key it and you see what the where it was keyed. If it's coming up and bothering you, right, then now you know where it is to release it. The point is that it's divine plan. Everything is divine. I mean, it's just when you get to everything is divine. There is no need to control it. When we control it is whenever it starts fractaling out and it goes to shkra. So it's like we almost need to download these keys, get it into our system in tones and colors, and then burn it, you know within our human genome. Now we can use it to assist, but now we have to be careful whenever we use it, right? Because we're connecting in that quantum field, keeping our energy clean, making sure that we're calling in and clearing our energy fields, okay? If you're hearing sounds above your house at night, like wah, 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 okay, like I did all last night as I was calling in energetic healing, just if this is in divine plan, if it's in divine plan, we no longer have to control. Because if it's in divine plan if it's not in divine plan, then it'll go away. Don't try to assign it anything, you know, because really, who knows? Our fields are so big. Yesterday, I reconnected with another planetary energy and went through a field of some sort that gave me some type. As I'm unraveling all of this, my brain, especially yesterday, but I mean, the astrology on all of our charts is insane. Because we've got all these tones are lining. Basically, if I say Venus was on my Neptune. Well, Venus is a 9 and Neptune, when you look at your chart and so if you get a planet, one of the collective where the collective planet is on one of your planets, right? It's like Venus, so my 9 and I've got 6 planets there was on my Neptune, merging the oversoul, okay, basically. And so yesterday, about 3 or 4 o'clock, after I went through that planetary energy, my brain literally felt like it had a magnetic charge kind of running through it, and it felt like it was like melting. It hurt like a headache, like that Uranus headache. I mean, because if you have a lot of Libra energy, you know what Uranus headaches feel like, because and then if those of us that are Pluto and Libra, if you have anything in Libra or Aries, remember everything that's going on in Capricorn is squaring you. So it's like the way my field is and it's the divine feminine field because my energy field is basically Venus. So we're in my this is the divine feminine and it's linking back into the natural organic process. You can even see it on the solar arc, and the divine feminine chart on the progressed is linked to almost every single planetary system. And Neptune is Venus's oversoul, and Neptune is the true matrix. This is where they're coded. Arcturus and Regulus are the divine masculine, the divine feminine, basically, if you will. Okay. And then the matrix was formed as the opposite to Neptune. Sirius energy is your Neptune energy, is the merge of the 2 and the 3. Okay, back to the 5. Okay. So anyway, I'm saying that because my brain was melting. I could and I was feeling magnetism and it moving around. And while I had decoded a lot of this up until yesterday, last night, what the dimension what I woke up with was just this overwhelming urge to change the language. The overwhelming urge to look up this, all the storms, the hurricanes, all of that, because when they start putting it out in the news and they're like, this is and everyone starts saying those words, when we start saying those words, right, then we create it. Just like the FIRE. I mean, hi, that's 555. So whenever we're saying it and we're putting it out everywhere, then it creates that fire energy, and boom, it's going to spring off, especially in this organic energy. So we need to watch what we're saying and how we're saying it, and we need to kind of come up with new ways to say things, right? That creates a harmony. So that's what I woke up with, and with The Simpsons, which was executive producer, one of the Weinsteins, and was basically the puppet master's cauldron. That's how it was called in. So I'll leave you with that. I love you guys so much. Comment below if you want to. So I'm going to work on The Simpsons for sure, because it explains this whole thing in a lot of ways, and then the Trump and Pelosi story, because that is just a serious Orion timeline playing out. Don't pay it any attention, but I want to do a video so that people in your families and people that are caught up in that you can send it to them and just say, hey, see what she has to say about that. And see what happens. They might, they can hate on me. I don't care. I'm doing something right if they're coming at me, okay? Right? So um also real quick, if you have YouTube channels, there's these bots. And there's a bot named K that hits up my channel. It's the only one I've had. It's the one that tells me that I'm going to be in a cell in hell, okay? Just realize that it's a bot. And Kay, we love you. And we hope that you get out of that cell that you keep telling us about.